Known for its sun and sand beaches, shacks and massive medieval era churches, Goa is one of the most celebrated hub of tourists from all over the world. But there is another facet that has over the years emerged as its inseparable identity, the football. This monsoon saw Goa immersing itself in a month-long celebrations as the Football World Cup kicked off in Russia. It seemed as if matches were played in the backyard of villages and the city of the coastal state. And it's not just the Football World Cup, any football event, even at the local level, lives up the celebrations in this sports crazy state, where football is said to be in their blood.
At least here in Panjim, it started sometime in 1947, because I know that the founders of this institution, when they landed up in Goa around that time, the first thing they did was they took a football, because they were Spanish priests who came in, Salesians of course, Don Bosco fathers, and they started playing football in the evening with the students, and that is how they managed to attract a number of students, and get around them, because basically they came looking out for them. And I believe Goa's love for football existed from that time on. There is a lot of enthusiasm, whether it is the FIFA World Cup or whether it is even the simple Indian I-League football or even the Super League. They are all interested, they just celebrate, they enjoy, they like watching the games at the stadiums, and even otherwise, whenever there is any ordinary tournament organized, you have a big crowd, you have a huge fan following, and they just celebrate and enjoy the game.
A good grassroots system in Goa, because if you go to see like Dempos, they have grassroots teams like under 14, they have under 16, under 18, the under 20. So like clubs like Dempos, Salgonkas, FC Goa, Sporting Club de Goa, Churchill Brothers. So all the big clubs, what they do is like we have grassroots level. So grassroots teams, the competition is very tough. So now this has made a big impact, like doing grassroots and taking players in the senior team too. So it helps us.
Come any major tournament, the football fever could be seen in the eateries, markets and schools of Goa, not just in the cities like Panjim and Margao, but also in the local inns. Football motives, support for the favourite team or a favourite star player is not difficult to miss out.
Football for Goa is like, it's like a religion. I mean, I have been born and brought up in Goa for quite a long time. I mean, right from birth, although now not based in Goa, but been seeing from childhood, like, places, the villages, everywhere in Goa, maybe South Goa or North Goa, more in South Goa in fact. I mean, they have been into this particular sport right from birth maybe.
See, Goans are passionate about football. I think a lot of culture that we have in Goa is influenced by the Portuguese. You must have seen the Portuguese is very much, it's a football-loving nation. So even Goans here, we love football. It's not just the Urrak and the Feni that we love. We also love football a lot. So you must have seen on the roads of Panjim and in the villages, people are donning the Portuguese or the Brazilian flags. And so there's a lot of passion for football here in Goa. And we have got the lovely beaches where we can enjoy.
It's training grounds like these where come here as individuals but go home as disciplined students, trying and making all possible efforts to get better with each outing or for that matter with each practice game. As it says, more effort or more sweat you take out in the training, lesser it takes in the real game.
For these young boys, the tryst with their favourite game starts early. Many train rigorously through the years to realize their dreams of becoming a professional footballer. What one sees in these training grounds will be witnessed at the club matches, interstate tournaments and eventually to the national teams.
We keep selections in the north and in the south of Goa. So we put it on the paper, the ads, everything comes, and even the Facebook page and all of Dempos we put. So it is very easy for us to get the boys from the local only because through the media. And our media also is very good, Dempos. They have a special paper. Our paper also is there in the Navin Times. We had something 560 or 600 boys for trials, just in the north. Then in the south, it was like 900 boys total. So out of that, we choose 24 boys, just 24 boys, and we train them. So it is like basically in Goa, it is football is bread and butter. So they like to play football.
The colours and the festivities at the time of any major tournament, like the World Cup or the I-League, act as a mirror for these young boys to hone their skills and emulate their favourites. The star gallery and their flair, even on TV screen, is surely helpful for many of these tender minds.
Everybody is like to play every game, like cricket, badminton, tennis or chess, every other game. Then I also like same. I also like to play football. My struggles are very much struggles, practice also. Then the injuries also coming. Sometimes we play and we slide the ball, then injuries is coming. And blood and sweat, very much. I watch some games. I study from that game how they are doing mistakes. We have to not do their mistakes. We have to pass like that.
Another reason for the boys taking up the game seriously and as career option nowadays is an extremely forward-looking marks for sports component in Goa's primary and secondary education. The marks for sports criteria has also led parents encouraging their kids to take up the sports, just like any other stream of career.
It is called as a sports policy marks issued by the government of Goa and especially instituted for the purpose and benefit of the students who are working hard on the play field, especially in various games, whatever they take part at the school level.
It's very, very important. For us, like 30 marks we get for the 10th standard. My lot, 8 of them are there in the 10th standard. So now for them, it is very, very important because as a sportsman, you know, they are not big scholars or they are good average players, average student. So what happened, like if we get marks, sports marks, it helps our boys to be there, like to be in the next class. Or maybe because of 10 marks they fail, you get 30 marks here. If you represent your school or play for Goa or play, so you get. So it's a nice thing what the government has done here.
There are marks for even the lowest level, say taluka level. Then when you go up to the district level, state level and national level and even international level. So at all levels, whatever you participate, you are credited with the marks accumulated as per your victories.
But away from the sporting clubs in the city spaces, the parallel universe of the beautiful game keeps growing in the village tournament.
ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि ये बहुत साल से खेला जाए जब से गोवा इंडिपेंडेंट हुआ है तब से ये गोवा के लोगों के ब्लड में है, रग रग में बसा है फुटबॉल। तो ये बहुत साल से चलता आ रहा है ये इंटरवर्ड, ये यहाँ से हमारे प्लेयर बन के बड़े टीम को जाते हैं। तो इसलिए ये इंटरवर्ड इज़ वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है ये हमारे फुटबॉल के लिए। गोवा में हर जगह ऐसा इंटरवर्ड टूर्नामेंट होता है, हर गोवा में होता है। तो ये मैं समझूं कि ये पूरे गोवा के लोगों के रग रग में बसा है फुटबॉल।
We do this tournament, Club Samingal Trophy, for the last 11 years, and we prepare the interward tournament over here. In that, all the ward-wise players come and play over here, and we select them for our main team. This is important where the football coming up in the villages, where you get good talented player. Small-sided games are going on, and you can see a lot of talent are picked from this. When we pick up this talent, we put players in the first team, then they go for the league first division. There the players get exposure where they can go for big clubs like Salonga Football Club, Dempo Sport Club, Sporting Club de Goa, Churchill Brothers Sport Club and Vasco Sport Club. So these are the big teams where they can go and play. And from this village, we have got a lot of players who are playing in the professional league from our club.
These are small and micro-level football tournaments organized across Goa in every village and panchayats, and are extremely popular format which also acts as occasion of social outing in a locality.
यहाँ रिस्पांस फैंटास्टिक रहता है क्योंकि यहाँ क्रिकेट से ज़्यादा लोग फुटबॉल पसंद करते हैं क्योंकि यहाँ पुर्तगीज़ रूल करके गए हैं और इसलिए हर एक आदमी हर एक इंसान जो गोवा में रहता है उसके मैं समझूँ कि ब्लड रग रग में फुटबॉल बसा हुआ है.
Young talents are scouted in this foundational level tournament where the boys next home dream and aspire to play for the district and then for the state and in Indian colours.
If all the villages comes with the same way, with the small-sided games, they can get a good talent for a Goan Football Association where it can get a good exposure in AFF tournaments. So it is a big achievement in Goa where a lot of football is going on. And it is good for our Indian team where at the time there were 9 to 10 players where they were playing in Indian team. So now in junior level there are a lot of players from Goa where they are encouraged to play for the Indian team.
Most of the players when they come on professional level, most of them play in the villages. Like for example myself only, when I was there, when I'm from one village, so most of the villages here they have their own teams. And there is an inter-village tournament. So like that there are a lot of tournaments. In this April, May, if you come, you will see every 1 week there will be 2 tournaments going on. One in the north, one in the south. Every Sunday there are tournaments, village tournaments. So you can get good talents too.
The game lives on in this small yet colourful state like an identity. The fervour and festivities just doesn't end with any tournament.
Well, it's not just beaches, the sunrise and sunset at tourist destinations, and football and love for the game. Goa is also known for its rich spices. Lying in fertile and mineral-rich Western Ghats, Goa can be treasure trove for not just spice cultivation but for many gastronomy enthusiasts.
One of the major trade centres of the country, Goa emerged on the spice route by the turn of 16th century. It all began with the discovery of alternate route to India through the sea by Vasco da Gama in 1498. Landing in Calicut, the Portuguese were overawed by the abundance of spice through the Malabar coast and Ceylon. When Portuguese took up the control of Goa, the trade routes expanded via sea, with rich spices making way to European markets.
Like normally we have a lot of black pepper which is growing around. Then we also have is cardamom. Then we have is the cinnamon which grows a lot. Then also we have is cloves also as well. And then we also have is the peri-peri chili also, which is prominent in Goa. Besides the spices, like you have is most of the herbs which are grown, like you have is the creeper, which you see it growing around, it's known as the Vijay Sagar, which is used in most of the liver tonics. Then also you have is most of the herbs, like you have is a wild plant which grows around, which is known as adulsa, which is used in the cough syrups. Then also have is the lemongrass, which is also a herb. It's not a spice, it's a herb also as well.
And it's these spices which are an integral ingredient of mouth-watering dishes, the Goan cuisine, known across the world for its amalgam of indigenous variety to an exotic one.
There are 3 versions of Goan, as of now at least, 3 versions of Goan cuisine. First being the Saraswat Goan, that is predominantly eaten in the homes of Hindu Goans, I would rather say. Then there is one which is Catholic food, which is in which there's a lot of vinegar which is being used. And again there is a Muslim version as well, but which is not as commercially known as other Goan cuisines are known. When I differentiate between the Catholic cuisines, the saring agent and the Catholic, like I mentioned, it is the toddy vinegar which they use. It's not the regular synthetic vinegar, but it is the toddy vinegar. In Hindu cuisine, it is rather the saring agent which is used is the kokum. That is what they use. And again in the Muslim cuisine, it's not pretty much, they don't use much of a saring agent. Their food is more on the spicier side.
Goa is home to 3 species of pepper. Among them is black pepper, which was one of the main products traded by Portuguese in the European market. It was said to be as valuable as gold in those days. According to some claims, over half of Portugal's state revenue during 16th century came from West African gold and Indian pepper and other spices. Today, the black pepper is one of the choicest of spices of many chefs across Goa.
To be honest, in the kitchen, every now and then I keep on exploring. It's not any particular spice as such, but yes, if you ask me which is my favorite spice, I would rather say black pepper, which is my personal favorite. It has when you roast it and just crush it, the flavor which it comes out. Even if you cook any fish, just with salt and crushed pepper, that's it. Being a chef, I know I have to explore a lot of things, but food which is cooked with basic ingredients, basic spices, just salt and crushed pepper, tastes wonderful for me.
Cinnamon, an aromatic spice extracted as bark of the trunk and stems, is another of Goa's domestic spices. Also, the bay leaf, a high-energy spice, is extracted from the cinnamon tree in Goa. Among the rich cash crops, Goa is home to cardamom too. One of the preferred spices for its aroma and richness, demands a meticulous planning in its plantation.
Cardamom needs a lot of shade. So that's how we have is all the palm trees, which gives us the natural shade, and then it also keeps the climate cooler by around 4 degrees centigrade. And what happens is now in Goa we have is the lateritic soil. So we cannot grow is the black cardamom, but then we can grow is the green cardamom. And the green cardamom does not grow on the top, but it's just above the ground. Like we have the shoots. From a shoot, a flower. After the flower, the cardamom pods growing over here. And the season of the cardamom is August, September, or January to February, 2 times in a year. And from this bush in 1 year, it's around 100 to 150 pieces, around 30 to 40 grams of the cardamoms on a bush in a year.
30 to
40 grams
of cardamom from one bush.
In a year, in a year.
Okay.
So that's the reason it's the 3rd expensive spice in the world. So cardamom is known as the queen of spice, while pepper is known as the king of spice.
Right.
India, since ancient times, is known for its fabulous aromas and flavors of spices which are valued more than gems and precious metals. At the same time, its fertile land also became the harvesting ground for various spices imported by the settlers, just like this peri-peri chilies. Often known as piri-piri, jalgi mirsang and even Portugali, the spice was brought in by the Portuguese settlers from Mozambique and erstwhile Portuguese colony in Africa.
Okay, now this spice, it is a chili which it was the Portuguese who brought it from Mozambique. So it's known as the peri peri or the pili pili chili, and the maximum size is around 2 centimeters, and it's nearly the 5th spiciest chili in the world, okay, which is around 2,800 times spicier.
Okay.
So from green, as it ripened, it turns red. So that is more spicier than the green one. And pili pili in Swahili or African language, it means fire, fire. So that's how the name, the pili pili.
Well, right from the gardens and farmhouses, these spices make it to the kitchens of households, and not just household alone, to these restaurants and fancy and serene kitchens by the beach, where it's not just the Goan food, but delicacies around the world which are given life by these spices of India.
What is currently trending is the cosmopolitan, I would rather say contemporary. That is what is trending in Goa. The food in Goa is no more like the classic Indian or classic Chinese or whatsoever you call. People are, the taste buds of people are also changing. So things are slowly going to next level. People are preferring to go contemporary. They don't mind experimenting things. So yes, people are going out, people try different things, they like to explore the food.
Laid back, comfortable and colourful. The peculiarity often used to describe a Goan life. Add to that an uncomplicated and hiccup-free fervour. Goa doesn't disappoint you with its dimension from sports culture to the food. With each passing milestone on its highway, one will not only find Goa adding a layer of colours to its distinct and rich character, one will also not miss out on the training grounds owning the best talents and abundance of natural resources, keeping your plate full with her delectable cuisines.
Everybody says Goan life is the most relaxed life. It is not the same actually, to be honest. It's a lot different. Goan life, yes, it is not very complicated. It's not very complicated. It's pretty simple. People are humble over here. People are approachable. It's only that people coming from metros, they have their own lifestyle which they cannot get in Goa. Yes, shops do close a little early. Public transport has its own limitations in Goa. But life in Goa is, I would say, happy-go-lucky. People live the way they want to.